Hi everyone, welcome to my last Wednesday live at 5 for 2025. I cannot believe where this year's gone. Friday will be my last day at Supermums until the new year. So I just wanted to come on just to talk about my gratitude and absolute thanks from every single one of you that has been on this journey with me in 2025. What a great year it's been for me, for sure. So obviously, some of you will be joining live, and obviously some of you will be catching this on replay. But either way, I'm really, really glad you're here. So thank you so much for spending your time with me on a Wednesday. I know there are many people that I hear from that say that they've enjoyed listening to my live on Wednesdays. So it's really great. So thank you so much to all of you. So obviously we're going to wrap up now. I don't know whether you're planning to wrap up anytime soon or whether you're here right the way to the very end on maybe the 24th. But whatever, I absolutely wish you the best festive period. Enjoy, have a break. Hopefully you have a break. If you're anything like me and you're cooking, it may be not such a break, but just, it's nice to go, okay, I'm just going to pause. I'm not going to think about anything. I'm just going to pause. I'm just going to fix myself and, get ready for the new year. I think when I reflect on 2025, I've got so much to be grateful for. The community of Supermums are always there. Everyone is so supportive and so genuine. I've never come across a community quite like it in all of my working life. So I think it's nice to stop tonight and just to think about gratitude, to think not in a forced way, but not in a everything was perfect kind of way, but in a grounded, honest, awareness-based way. So again, just stop and think about the things that have gone great, I should say, and obviously the things that haven't, because sometimes not everything goes to plan all of the time. Of course it doesn't. But sometimes, if you think about reframing gratitude, when we hear the word gratitude, sometimes it feels perhaps a little bit like maybe pressure, like we're supposed to be positive and we're supposed to be grateful and, nothing else matters, for us to be positive. But that's not what gratitude is all about. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring the hard parts. It doesn't mean pretending things didn't hurt or that you didn't struggle. But real gratitude is awareness. When you think it's about noticing what you've learned, noticing what you've survived through 2025, I think it's important to just stop sometimes, to reflect, to think about the things that worked as well as the things that didn't work, of course. Because, when you think you go through, your life is a chapter, your life is a book. Don't forget, you write your own chapters. I know you've heard me say that before. But, even through the difficult chapters of the seasons of the year, something in you was growing. So even if you didn't feel like it was, think about the things that have gone right throughout this year, and think about erasing the hard times. Think about, maybe give them some meaning. And sometimes things go wrong for a reason. Sometimes you can look back on things and go, do you know what? I'm glad that actually happened because it's brought me to where I am today. So sometimes gratitude can come much later. It doesn't have to be, right now. I don't expect you or anyone else to sit there and go, okay, I'm grateful for everything, because not everyone is. In terms of maybe a bit of personal reflection, I think for me, This year's been a reminder that growth isn't always loud, if that makes sense. Some of the biggest shifts do happen quite quietly in the background. And think about the boundaries that you've kept, think about the moments that you chose for yourself, and the lessons. The lessons you hear me say, that you didn't fully understand until much later. As I say, they will all come back, and sometimes they will absolutely make you think. And I think it's not about how they've changed you. It's just about how they've made a difference. I mean, nobody wants to change anybody. I think everyone travels through their own journey in life, but it's just about going, okay, we're at the end of the year. Obviously, in a minute, we'll be making New Year resolutions for 2026. But for now, let's just stop and reflect on 2025 and what went well and what didn't. Just something for those of you that are here, or of course, watching the recording. Just, you don't have to type anything. You can if you like. But sometimes it's nice to go, have a little bit of a think. I'll ask you 3 questions. And if you just bear with me and just think about them for a minute. So take a breath. Think, question 1, what did this year teach me about myself? And it might take you a little while to think it, but do it. Honestly, just stop and think, what did this year teach me about myself? Second question, what did I keep showing up for, even when it was hard? And again, sometimes it's good to ask yourself that, because then you think, you continue showing up. Sometimes things aren't the way you would expect them to be, or the way you'd want them to be, but just keep showing up and think about what made you show up for everything that you did show up in 2025. And thirdly, and this is the gratitude piece, what am I grateful for that I wasn't ready to see earlier in the year? And again, like I say, coming back to what I said in the beginning, think about the things that you felt were hard at the time, and you've come back towards the end of the year and you're actually grateful for them, because you'll be surprised. It's a really good exercise, actually, to just stop and think about, there's no right answer, there's no wrong answer. It's just about being aware, because sometimes awareness is enough. So again, thinking about gratitude as the foundation for growth. Gratitude is so powerful because it does create that clarity, that transparency. And obviously, clarity and transparency do lead to that lovely word that you'll hear me say that I love, which is confidence. Because the more you've grown, the more you know, the more you've learnt, the more you stop and think about what this year has brought, it will bring your confidence. Mark my words, absolutely. I think it's something to think about. Because when we acknowledge where we are, when we acknowledge honestly where we are, and we stop building our future from self-criticism, then we start building it from truth. So again, it's all about you. It's not about anyone else. It's not about what someone else can do. It's about what you've been able to do and what you've been able to achieve in 2025. And that is where the real growth will come from. When you think this entire season that I've done a series on the autumn series that I've done, it's been all about confidence, clarity, and growth. So I think that leads really nicely to this, this last session of the year. I can't believe I'm saying that, of gratitude. And it reminds us where we start from. We start from nothing. We experience, we learn, we grow, and we gain that confidence. So what I wanted to say is, as we move into this festive period, which is just about upon us, even if you've got beyond into next week, it's going to be time nearly for you to stop and pause, and just think that obviously not everyone feels joyful and happy. not everyone's going to feel rested, and not everyone feels connected, but that's okay. Wherever this season finds you, whether you're busy, you're tired, you're hopeful, you're reflective, or somewhere in between that, you're allowed to meet it exactly as you are. So rest if you need to, reflect if you need to, but let gratitude be the gentle reminder of 2025. And I think sometimes, we go along and we carry on this journey called life. We go from year to year and we don't reflect and we don't think and we don't stop. It is so important to do that, to move on to next year with a completely fresh start, and to make your New Year's resolutions, whatever they may be, and to move forward positively. And if 2025 hasn't been a great year for you, then park it. Let's get, this period out of the way, and let's go into 2026 with a clean slate and start again. I would just at this point like to mention that if you're planning to change your career in 2026, then obviously I wish you so much luck. If you want some help and advice on how to do that, then I'm here for you. So just reach out to me on LinkedIn, find me on Supermums. Like, you can't, I'm everywhere, so you won't miss me. But I will just say that if you already know that you're going to be doing a transition into Salesforce in 2026, then we do currently have that 10% off of our training courses. So have a look on supermums.org and have a look at the courses. The foundational knowledge, for those of you that haven't watched me before, is Salesforce Ultimate Admin course. It's the Supermums Ultimate Admin program, which will enable you to get into the ecosystem. But again, find me and ask me. But if you know you're doing it, then absolutely take advantage of that 10%, which we've got right now. And if you're watching this on recording, it closes on the 19th of December. And we're in 2025, just in case you pick this up next March or something. So as this year comes to a close, remember this: you don't need a new version of you. You don't need to rush into becoming someone else. You don't need to acknowledge the person who made it here. Absolutely well done for that. But for me, I am so grateful for my family. I'm so grateful for my friends. I'm so grateful for my work, of course, and all of this awesome community that I'm part of. Supermums community is just awesome. And you all know who you are. Thank you for my Mums on Cloud 9 colleague as well. We've had a great year of podcasts as well. But do you know what? Whoever you are, however you've touched my life in 2025, just thanks for being part of it. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for listening. Thanks for reflecting, and thanks for growing. And I look forward to continuing my journey of life with all of you in 2026, and do it together. If I can help in any way, absolutely let me know, and I am here for you. I'm absolutely here for you. So I will be back on Wednesday, which would be, I go back to work on the 2nd, so whatever the Wednesday after that is, I'll tell you what, I'm going to have a look and tell you. It will be Wednesday the 7th, lucky 7. So if you feel like that's lucky. So I will see you to talk about your plans and your goals. Let's come with a plan in 2026. Let's come with a New Year's resolution. Let's start the year as we plan to go on. Let's all have a timeline of when we want things to happen, and let's make them happen. Let's make 2026 the best year. So for me, I wish you an absolutely peaceful, grounded, festive period. And then I'll see you in the new year. And then we go again. So again, thank you so much to everyone that has been part of my 2025. And I look forward to seeing you next year. Crazy. Okay. Take care. Bye.